viewers, welcome back to another episode of Cryptotheists. I want to thank you for tuning in. Hope you have subscribed. Hopefully by the end of this video or future videos you will. Wanted to get into it quickly and start talking about what's going on in the market. It's a down day in the market. I'm not going to lie. It's a down day in the market, and there are a lot of losses that are being felt across the board due to some fear, some uncertainty, some doubt going on in the Asian markets of China and South Korea. And we'll get to talk about that in a couple seconds. Bear with me, I've stepped my game up a little bit, so I'm trying to integrate some graphic elements into my broadcast, and hopefully you'll enjoy the new visual approach I'm taking to my presentations. I'm still going to do live videos for those people in my Facebook group, and I also have some other things coming up in the future, to expand my brand a little bit more. Let's get into it right now and discuss, where we are. So, here's my nice, beautiful new logo, Okay. So the first thing I want to talk about is the crypto market uncertainty in Asia that's led to the significant market drop that's occurred. And like I've told you before, cryptocurrency is connected globally, but also to the other currencies as well. When Bitcoin goes down, it tends to drag everything else down with it because Bitcoin has the greatest name recognition. So there's a lot of other currencies that end up taking a blow. Even though they aren't cryptocurrencies, I tend to regard them as crypto assets, and we'll talk about that in the future. But they end up getting pulled down as well because, when one person, starts to pull out the market, people start to get skeptical and state, I'm not really certain about my funds being involved, and it's a ripple effect, and, it's just how the market works. Does it mean that cryptocurrency isn't going to come back, that we're going to be down here in this dip for, forever? No. As a matter of fact, that's why I constantly stress to everyone that you actually research these companies that you're getting invested in, because that's what you're doing. If you are in this for a get-rich-quick scheme, those people who bought high, they're feeling some huge losses today, and so as a result, there's a prime opportunity to lose a lot of cash if you aren't smart about your investment, if you don't respect the technology. And before we proceed, I want to let everybody know that I'm not a financial advisor. Everything I say is my personal opinion, but I am an informed advisor, and I hope to inform you as well. So we'll talk a little bit more about the crypto market uncertainty in Asia leading to the market drop. I then want to talk about the new exchanges that are opening in North Korea, because even in the center of all this market chaos that's going on, and as a result of impending regulation that I feel is necessary, but even with that impending regulation, we actually have people who are still expanding, developing companies that are centered around cryptocurrency and the trading of cryptocurrency. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Lastly, this was a hilarious article to me. Kind of sucks if you worked at Overstock or you were the person responsible for what happened. But there was an Overstock glitch which got caught before major losses occur, and we'll talk about that as well. So let's go and check out some of these stories. Actually, before we do that, let's look at the market and see what the market's doing right now. Do a quick refresh so you can see. Good old coinmarketcap.com letting us know, what's going on. So I checked in this morning. Markets were down. Markets are still down, but they are rebounding some. Like I said, the granddaddy of them all, Bitcoin down 14.36%. Ethereum's down 21.15%. And that's kind of shocking to me. Normally, Ethereum doesn't take a major hit like that. Ripple's down 27%, Bitcoin Cash 21%, Cardano 25%, Litecoin 18%. But I do want you to pay attention to good old Neo. I went all in on Neo before this even hit, because Neo's a stable buy. Neo's a solid buy. I'm going to do a completely different video that focuses on the benefits of Neo. There are so many benefits to Neo, and I've classified Neo as a crypto asset. It's not a cryptocurrency. You can't trade fractions of Neo. You can trade fractions of gas, which Neo produces, but you can't trade fractions of Neo. So it's more of a crypto asset that you should hold, because it actually generates returns, and it's a platform that's being developed for. It's the Ethereum of China. That's basically, you know, the word that gets or the phrase that gets circulated among crypto investors. It's the Ethereum of China. So there's a lot of developers developing for it, much like a lot of developers are developing for Ethereum here. And I have no doubt that it will be within the top 5 by the end of 2018. I don't know when that's going to occur necessarily, but I do feel it's a safe bet and a safe buy. It's trading at 150. It was up to 190 at one point this past week. But yeah, you know, there's a lot. It's got a low circulating supply in comparison to those like cryptocurrencies like Ripple, where you have, you know, 38. What is that? Billion Ripple that are out there. So with that being the case or whatever, Ripple's not going. I mean, yeah, you may look at it and say, oh yeah, you know, Ripple is, you know, so cheap, you know, $1.32. You know, if I get some of that, and there's a lot of them out there, you know, I'm going to become, you know, a Bitcoin millionaire in no time. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. That's just not the way the markets work. That's not the way stocks work. That's not the way investing works. If you have a lot, as far as circulating supply is concerned, then what's going to happen is basically, you know, the more you have of something, the less valuable it's going to be. Ripple was never designed to be an asset that you hold on to that matures over time for you to, you know, use to buy a new yacht or whatever. Does the value go up from, you know, the pennies that it started as? Yes, it does. But basically, its lack of scarcity decreases the value significantly to the point where you're not going to see, you know, $100, you know, dollars, you know, for one Ripple. It's not going to happen. Conversely, Neo is in small supply, yeah, you know, like I said, it generates significant returns. So that's the main reason why you're seeing Neo in the single digit losses, while you're seeing a lot of the other cryptocurrencies in the double digit losses. Cardano is not a cryptocurrency necessarily, in my opinion. It's more of an asset to hold. But you see how many Cardano are out there as well, and, you know, its value. So it's going to fluctuate, you know, a lot. It's not a really solid asset, in my opinion. You know, not something I've been drawn toward, but I do know a lot of investors who stake a lot of their gains on Cardano stock. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about the Asian market. So, like I said before, and I'll keep on saying this, you know, cryptocurrency is an international market. And so the Asian markets trade more cryptocurrency than any other markets in the world. So as they go, so do we. And with that being said, when the Asian market stepped in and said that, okay, we're going to start regulating, we're going to start cracking down, we're going to start making sure, we're going to start controlling how these assets are sold, distributed, get rid of some of the scammers, get rid of some of the market manipulators, get rid of some of the anonymous accounts. That's actually good for crypto. Because, you know, with it being a wild west, as far as cryptocurrency is concerned, there's a lot of opportunities for people to lose a lot of money. And when people lose a lot of money, that creates a lot of doubt in the market and causes people who actually have good intentions to pull their money out. And so it affects us all. So this is not something that I look at as a negative, you know, aspect. I think it's a really good market correction. And in all honesty, whenever the market does bad like this, like it is doing today, you can actually evaluate, you know, what's going on across the board in regard to how investors are thinking. Like, here's what we can pull just from this data right here. You see all of these, all the top 10 cryptocurrencies are down. But you can see that there must be some faith in Neo because it's not dropping as much. And so it's those assets that aren't dropping as much, those assets that people are choosing to hold on to, even with Bitcoin. People aren't selling it in droves. It's only down 14%. Where you're looking at other cryptos that are down 20% or more. And so that lets you know investors still see value in those cryptocurrencies that aren't decreasing as much. So you just got to read between the lines in a bad market. But anyway, like I said before, or a bad day in the market, not a bad market. Like I said before, even the South Korean, even not South Korean, even the Asian markets are in flux. Whenever the South Korean prime minister stated last week, financial prime minister stated last week that he was considering a ban on cryptocurrency, that created a huge ripple. No pun intended. A huge ripple in the cryptocurrency space and caused markets to drop down. But they also created a great buying opportunity. If you've been sitting on the sidelines with some fiat, now's a good time to get in, grab you some Neo, grab you, some Ethereum or whatever, and then whenever this bounces back, because it will bounce back, there are real companies behind these technologies. There are real companies that are trying to innovate different markets, real world markets that already exist with blockchain technology. And so with that being the case, these are going to bounce back. The only question is when. What we are dealing with right now in the market is a purge of individuals who have flocked to this market with the intention of making a quick buck. And because they came in thinking they're going to make a quick buck or whatever, and they started to take these losses, those people who have the weak hands, they're going to sell. They're going to sell everything they have because they didn't come here for this. They came here so they can go to the moon and buy a new yacht, buy a new Lambo, whatever. You, the savvy investor who's researched their technology, recognizes this opportunity and says, you know what, I want to take advantage of this. I want to go buy some Cardano. I'm going to buy some Ethereum. I'm going to go buy some Neo, and then ride that over a long period of time. I say to everybody, I recommend that you don't get in this thinking that you're going to get out in a month or 2 months, like 6 months max, a year, hopefully, 6 months minimum, a year at least, in my opinion, will allow you to make some significant gains and see what's going on in the market and feel this out. But if you're buying and selling and jumping around or whatever and trying to day trade, that's where you're going to take some serious hits whenever this market goes bearish. But if you're dollar cost averaging, buying as you get some extra cash, putting it in behind those cryptocurrencies and assets you believe in, then you'll end up making gains because this market is going to continue to explode. It's going to continue to grow. And as people become more comfortable with it and more familiar with it, it's going to level out. When it levels out, I believe less gains will be able to be made, but it will become more stable and your investment will stabilize. And even now, where I'm sitting right now, I still have an 800% return in regard to my initial investment, regardless of what the market has done. It's come down some. At one point I had 1,000 return, but now I'm down to 800% return. It's still a significant return. So that being said, yeah, the markets themselves are in flux, and yeah, right here, Korean citizen petition opposing cryptocurrency trading ban nears 100,000 signatures. And so even in South Korea, where you actually have the governments who are trying to defend their fiat systems, China is trying to do the same thing. India is trying to do similar things in regard to regulation. I told you this is going to happen. You're seeing all of the governments in the world waking up in regard to banning and regulating cryptocurrency because money outside of their market is money they cannot control. And this is why I'm a fan of crypto over fiat any day of the week, because of the fact that it's the most disruptive technology when it comes to breaking the stranglehold the global banking systems have over us as free individuals. Okay. All right. Next, the new cryptocurrency exchanges proliferate in South Korea despite regulation. So yeah, I mean, in spite of everything that's going on in the market, in spite of the drop of Bitcoin, which has dropped from 15, 17,000 to 12,000, still way over the dollar. In spite of that, there's still money to be made, and opportunists are finding ways to make that money. markets are still opening up. Trading markets are still opening up, and they're going to continue to open up. This is just in South Korea. There are markets opening up all over Asia. There are markets opening up in Africa. I was researching some of those, and then on top of that, there's also there are decentralized markets that are going to open up, and that's really going to throw a wrench in the plans of those countries and established entities that want to try to impose bans on crypto. Because right now, the only way that they can really control crypto is for them to regulate how the banks treat it, regulate how it can be converted back into fiat, if that or whatever. But if you start dealing with private banking entities that can convert fiat into crypto and back and forth or whatever, what can they do to stop it? If you're talking about a decentralized entity where you can't go to China and shut down an exchange, you can't go to South Korea, shut down an exchange, you can't tell Coinbase to stop trading, then regulation is going to have some serious problems and serious headaches. I do feel come tax time, that's what they're going to double down on. They're going to try to tax the hell out of this, and this is all the more reason why we need to start finding a way to create more financial infrastructure outside of the fiat-based system. Because as long as you continue to covet fiat, and as long as you continue to support the fiat-based system, that's where they'll be able to get you. The tracking the trading is going to be hellacious. It's going to be a headache for every single government on the face of this planet. But whatever you come back to fiat, that's where they can get you. So just look at all of this regulation, this crackdown, as basically a hallmark of an old dying guard trying to maintain control over the system. So let me silence my alerts real quick because it started getting a mine or two. All right. Lastly, this was hilarious to me. Okay, so Overstock started taking Bitcoin. All right, which is okay. That's cool. There's a bunch of online retailers that take Bitcoin. But Overstock decided they were going to take Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. That's not a problem either. That's great. I love it whenever businesses, whether they be small ones, or huge conglomerates, decide that they're going to take cryptocurrency. That's the death of fiat to me. But what happened was Overstock was allowing Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash to be used interchangeably. Now, this is why you have to respect the tech. Anybody who knows Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash can look and see the difference between the two. Bitcoin going for $1,100 a coin, where Bitcoin Cash is going for $1,900 a coin, right? And so basically, there was an opportunity, if somebody was so inclined, to purchase, a gas grill online with Bitcoin Cash at a significant discount, and then return that same gas grill and ask for Bitcoin as reimbursement. So you can see where there's an opportunity for somebody to make a little bit of money, and not even a little bit of money, a lot of money. So I thought this was hilarious. It was caught. Apparently, I don't believe anybody was able to take advantage of that exploit. I'm not recommending that people should have, because I think that really would have hurt crypto if something like that had gotten out and somebody actually made away with millions of dollars. That definitely would have hurt crypto, in my opinion. The negative news does not help the cryptocurrency market. But yeah, there are so many individuals out here who don't understand, just the basics of cryptocurrency, the value, and make these careless mistakes. And individuals aren't susceptible to it, alone. Big businesses, as you can see, Overstock.com, could have lost, a ton of money if a bunch of Bitcoin Cash holders made a run on their establishment and made off with a bunch of diamonds and whatever else Overstock is selling. So just a little bit of information. So anyway, that being said, I wanted to keep this one short. I wanted to try the new format out, and basically, just talk to you all about, what I was trying to do, and yeah, saying, yeah, the market's bad today, but it's not necessarily a terrible thing. There are a bunch of things that you can gain from just observing the market, reading the market, and then also making sure that you do your research. Because if you invested in, one of those crap coins that was out, that didn't have, that you just hopped on because, you heard about it on Telegram or Reddit or insert, social media um, uh, platform here, yeah, you're going to deal with it. You're going to have a bad time. You're going to have a bad time. This is not a market where speculation has to be so volatile. You just have to be smart about what you invest in and why. And so for the next show, I want to talk about crypto assets versus cryptocurrencies, the difference between the two of them, and how to distinguish what's a hold, and what's a currency that's just basically used for exchange. Because in the crypto marketplace, each of these assets or each of these cryptocurrencies actually has a purpose. And if you research that purpose, you can use it appropriately. You aren't sitting here trying to hold a bunch of Dogecoin thinking, I want to be a millionaire in a year, because you recognize that Dogecoin is, a crap currency. And that's basically all it's supposed to do, is just be a currency. It was actually a joke currency, in all honesty. And so, yeah, be informed, be intelligent, and respect the tech.